Welcome, English learners, to another episode of our podcast, where we make English learning easy, fun, and practical for you. Whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced learner, if you've ever struggled to speak despite understanding English well, then this episode is for you.
That's right. Have you ever watched an English movie, understood everything, but the moment you try to speak, your mind goes completely blank? It's like the words are trapped inside your brain, but they refuse to come out.
Oh, we've all been there. You can read, listen, and even write in English, but when it's time to have a real conversation, silence. It's frustrating, right?
But today, we're here to tell you something incredibly powerful. You can fix this. And not in months or years. You can start speaking English confidently in just 7 days.
Yes, you heard that right. In just 1 week, you can break free from overthinking, stop hesitating, and finally start speaking naturally and fluently. No complicated grammar rules, no boring memorization, just a simple, step-by-step plan to unlock your speaking skills.
And by the end of this episode, you won't just understand why speaking is hard for you. You'll have a clear 7-day challenge that will push you to finally speak English with confidence.
So, grab a notebook, get comfortable, and stay with us until the end, because we have a powerful challenge that will transform the way you think, practice, and speak English forever. Let's get started.
Chapter 1. Why can you understand English but not speak it? Before we dive into solutions, let's answer the big question. Why does this happen? Why is it that you can understand movies, podcasts, and conversations, but the moment it's your turn to speak, you freeze? Have you ever asked yourself, I know the words, so why can't I say them when I need to? The truth is, understanding and speaking are two completely different skills. Your brain can recognize and process words when you listen, but speaking is a whole new level. It requires your brain to think, form sentences, and move your mouth muscles, all in real time. That's why you might feel stuck.
That's a perfect way to put it. Imagine watching someone play the guitar. You can see how their fingers move, you can hear the music, and you understand what they're doing. But if I hand you a guitar right now and say, play a song, you'd probably struggle. Why? Because watching isn't the same as doing, and it's the same with English. You've been listening, reading, and understanding English for months, maybe even years, but have you been actively practicing speaking every day? Now here's another reason why speaking feels so hard: fear. A lot of learners worry about sounding silly, making mistakes, or not knowing the perfect word. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a situation where you wanted to say something in English, but instead you just stayed quiet because you were scared you'd say it wrong?
I bet most of our listeners are nodding right now. And listen, if that has happened to you, you are not alone. Fear of mistakes is one of the biggest reasons people don't speak. But here's what you need to know. Native speakers don't care if you make mistakes. Think about it. If a tourist came to your country and tried to speak your language, would you laugh at them? Of course not. You'd appreciate their effort. That's exactly how native English speakers feel about you when you speak English. They just want to understand what you're saying. They don't care if your grammar isn't perfect.
Exactly. So today, we're not just going to talk about this problem. We're going to fix it. And trust me, the way we're going to do it is not boring memorization or complex grammar lessons. We have a 7-day challenge that will push you to speak English naturally, confidently, and without hesitation. So, if you've been stuck in your head, overthinking every word, or feeling nervous about speaking, this is the challenge that will finally change everything for you. Chapter 2. The 7-Day Challenge. How it works. All right, here's where things get exciting. You're not just going to sit and listen, you're going to take action. Over the next 7 days, we're going to train your brain and your mouth to work together. Think of this as a workout for your speaking skills. Right now, your brain knows English, but your mouth isn't used to producing it quickly. That's what we're going to fix. We're not asking for hours of your time, just a few minutes every day following a specific exercise that builds fluency step by step.
And let's be clear, this is not about memorizing more words or studying grammar books. You don't need that. You already understand English, you just need to unlock your speaking ability. Each day we'll introduce one simple but powerful exercise. By the end of these 7 days, you'll be shocked at how much easier speaking English feels.
Let me ask you something. Have you ever tried to learn a sport? Maybe basketball, swimming, or even dancing? When you started, did you feel awkward? Maybe you overthought every movement? But after practicing for a while, your body started moving naturally, without thinking. That's what we're doing with English. Speaking English isn't about thinking, it's about doing. Right now, your brain is overthinking everything when you try to speak. This challenge is designed to break that habit. You'll stop analyzing and start speaking automatically, like native speakers do.
Now, let's talk about how this challenge works. Each day, you will check, do a short speaking exercise. This trains your brain and mouth to work together. Use the no silent rule. This means you must speak out loud every single day. Forget about perfect grammar. The goal is to communicate, not be perfect. We're going to build fluency step by step. By the end of day 7, you'll have a completely different relationship with English. You'll be able to speak naturally without hesitation.
So if you've ever thought, I can understand English but I can't speak, this is your chance to change that, once and for all. And guess what? You don't have to wait. We're starting right now with day 1, the no silent rule. Are you ready? Let's go.
Day 1, the no silent rule. All right, it's day 1, and we're starting strong with one of the most powerful techniques to unlock your fluency, the no silent rule. For the next 24 hours, you are not allowed to stay silent when you're alone. That means you must speak English even if there's no one around. I know what you're thinking. But Sophia, won't I sound crazy talking to myself? No, absolutely not. This is exactly what native speakers do when they're learning a new language. Your biggest problem isn't a lack of knowledge, it's a lack of practice using your voice in English. And that's what we're fixing today.
That's right. You need to activate your speaking muscles. Right now, your brain is comfortable understanding English, but your mouth isn't used to producing English quickly. This exercise forces you to get comfortable forming sentences in real time without hesitation. So here's your challenge. Talk out loud in English all day. No excuses. If you're making coffee, describe what you're doing. I'm making coffee. The smell is so good. I love starting my day with a hot cup of coffee. If you're walking outside, say, wow, it's such a sunny day. The sky is blue and the air feels fresh.
And if you feel like you don't know enough words, don't panic. You can use simple words to describe what's happening. Instead of saying, the temperature is rising, just say, it's getting hot. The goal isn't perfection, it's fluency. Also, if you forget a word, don't stop speaking. Instead, describe the word. For example, if you can't remember umbrella, say, it's the thing you use when it rains to keep yourself dry.
That's a great trick. And I know some of you might be thinking, but Adam, I don't know what to talk about. Don't worry, we've got you covered. Here's a simple plan for what to say throughout your day. Morning. Describe your routine. I just woke up. I need to brush my teeth. Afternoon. Talk about your tasks. I have to finish my work. Then I'll go for a walk. Evening. Reflect on your day. Today was busy, but I learned something new.
And don't just say words. Feel them. Use your voice like a native speaker. If you're excited, sound excited. If you're tired, sound tired. Try this right now, wherever you are. Say one full sentence in English out loudly. Go ahead. Pause this episode and try it.
Exactly. The more you practice this, the more natural English will feel. Your brain will start thinking in English automatically instead of translating. So, here's your challenge. For the next 24 hours, every time you think in your native language, stop. Say it out loud in English instead.
Day 2. Stop thinking, start speaking. Let's be honest. How many times have you wanted to speak in English, but instead of just saying something, you started thinking too much? You worried about using the right grammar, the right words, or sounding perfect. And before you knew it, the moment had passed. You stayed silent. This happens to almost every English learner. Why? Because we've been trained to believe that speaking English requires perfection, that we need to have the perfect sentence in our head before we open our mouth. But today we're breaking that habit. Today we're going to stop thinking and start speaking.
Yes, and here's the biggest secret fluent speakers know. They don't think before they speak. They don't plan every sentence in their head. Instead, they just let the words come out naturally. Even if they make mistakes, they keep going. Think about it. When you speak your native language, do you stop to think about grammar before every sentence? No, you just talk. And that's exactly how you need to train your brain to work in English. So, here's the challenge for today. Describe everything you do in real time, out loud. No pausing, no translating, just say it as it happens.
Let's try it right now. Imagine you just woke up. Instead of thinking in your native language, say, I'm waking up now. I'm brushing my teeth. I'm drinking coffee. It smells really good. Now, let's say you go outside. Describe everything you see. There's a car parked on the street. That man is wearing a black jacket. The sun is shining and the sky is blue. It doesn't matter if your sentences are simple or not perfect. The goal is to force your brain to think in English instead of translating.
And here's the best part. If you don't know a word, don't stop. Just describe it. For example, if you forget how to say umbrella, don't switch to your native language. Instead, say, it's the thing you use when it rains to stay dry. Or if you forget the word refrigerator, say, it's the cold box where I keep my food fresh.
This is exactly what native speakers do. Even if they forget a word, they find another way to explain it instead of freezing. So today your job is to speak every moment you can, even if you're alone, even if it feels strange. The more you do this, the more English will become automatic.
And here's a bonus tip to help you stay on track. Set a reminder on your phone that says, think in English. Every time you see it, start describing what you're doing out loud. So, listeners, for the next 24 hours, there's only one rule. No silence.
Chapter 5, Day 3. The 3-second rule. All right. Now that you're getting comfortable speaking out loud and thinking in English, today's challenge is all about speed. Have you ever had someone ask you a simple question in English, but instead of answering right away, your brain froze? You hesitated. You started thinking about the perfect answer, the right grammar, the best way to say it, and before you could speak, the conversation moved on. This happens all the time to learners, and the reason is simple. You're giving yourself too much time to think.
Exactly. That's why today we're introducing the 3-second rule. Here's how it works. The moment someone asks you a question, you must answer within 3 seconds. No long pauses, no overthinking, no waiting until you have the perfect words. Just speak.
Let's try an example. Imagine I ask you, how was your weekend? What do you do? Wrong way. Thinking for 10 seconds. Well, I think I, went to, right way. It was good, I went shopping. Notice something. The second response wasn't perfect, but it was natural, and that's the goal.
This is exactly how native speakers speak. They don't pause for 10 seconds before answering. They just start talking, even if they don't know exactly what they'll say next. And here's the secret. Once you start speaking, the words will come. But if you wait too long, your brain shuts down.
So let's test it. I'm going to ask you 3 simple questions. You have 3 seconds to answer each one. Ready? 1. What did you eat for breakfast? 2. What's one thing you like to do on the weekend? 3. What's the last movie you watched? Listeners, pause the podcast and answer out loud. Fast. Don't think, just say something.
If you're still hesitating, don't worry. Your brain is just not used to responding quickly in English. But the more you practice, the faster you'll get.
And here's how you can practice the 3-second rule every day. Find a list of common questions. What's your name? Where are you from? What's your favorite food? And answer them as fast as possible. Practice with a friend. Have them ask you random questions and force yourself to respond immediately. Use a timer. Give yourself only 3 seconds to answer every question.
The goal here is not to be perfect. The goal is to train your brain to respond automatically like a native speaker. And the only way to do that is to stop hesitating and start speaking. So today, your challenge is simple. Every time someone asks you a question, answer within 3 seconds. No exceptions.
Chapter 6, Day 4, Shadowing Technique. All right, today's challenge is one of the most powerful techniques for improving your English speaking skills, and it's called shadowing. Now, if you've never heard of this, you might be wondering, what is shadowing? Well, imagine this. You are a mirror. When you shadow, you listen to a native speaker and repeat exactly what they say, immediately after hearing it. Same words, same speed, same pronunciation, same emotion. It's like singing along to your favorite song, but with real conversations.
That's right. Shadowing is one of the fastest ways to improve fluency because it forces your mouth and brain to work together, just like native speakers. Here's how it works. 1. Find a short English clip. It could be from a podcast, YouTube video, or even a movie scene. 2. Listen carefully to how the speaker talks. 3. Repeat what they say immediately. Don't pause, don't write it down, just say it.
Let's try a quick shadowing exercise together right now. I'll say a short phrase and you, our listeners, repeat after me without pausing. Ready? I really love learning English. It's so much fun.
Now your turn. Say it out loud right now. I really love learning English. It's so much fun.
Great! Now let's increase the difficulty. I'm going to say it faster. I really love learning English. It's so much fun.
How did that feel? A little challenging? That's the point. When you push yourself to keep up with native speakers, your mouth gets used to speaking English faster without overthinking.
And the best part? Shadowing helps with pronunciation, intonation, rhythm, and speed. All at the same time. It's real-life practice without needing a speaking partner.
But here's what most learners get wrong. They try to shadow long, complex sentences immediately. That's a mistake. You need to start simple and build up your speed. So here's how you should practice shadowing every day. Start with short clips, 10 to 15 seconds. Don't pick something too difficult at first. Listen carefully to the speaker's rhythm. Notice how words connect naturally. Repeat immediately. Even if you miss a word, keep going. Increase speed gradually. Once you're comfortable, try shadowing at full native speed.
And here's a bonus tip. If you don't have time to find clips, just shadow real conversations around you. If you hear someone speaking English, repeat what they're saying in your head or whisper it under your breath.
Exactly. And let's take it one step further. If you're watching a TV show or a YouTube video, turn on subtitles, listen to a sentence, pause it, and repeat the line exactly how the speaker says it.
Day 5, the 1-minute speaking challenge. All right, Adam. Today's challenge is one of the most effective speaking exercises that English learners can do right now, and it's called the 1-minute speaking challenge. Now, before anyone says, "Oh no, I can't do this, trust me," you can. This exercise is simple, fun, and guaranteed to make you a better speaker in just one day.
Exactly. The problem most learners face isn't just speaking, it's starting. They hesitate, they freeze, they overthink. But with this challenge, you'll train your brain to think and speak in English instantly. So here's how it works. 1. Choose any topic, something simple like my favorite food or my daily routine. 2. Set a timer for 1 minute. No stopping, no pausing, just keep talking. 3. Even if you get stuck, keep going.
And that's the most important part. Don't stop. If you don't know what to say next, use filler phrases like, "let me think." How can I say this? Well, what I mean is,
Right. Native speakers use filler words all the time. So if you're pausing to think, that's totally normal. The key is to keep your mouth moving and train yourself to speak without fear. Now let's do this together. Sophia, I'll give you a topic. You speak for 1 minute. Ready?
Let's do it!
Okay, your topic is describe your morning routine. Go.
All right, so every morning I wake up at around 7 a.m. The first thing I do is check my phone. Bad habit, I know. Then I get out of bed, brush my teeth and make a cup of coffee because I can't function without it. After that, I usually listen to a podcast while getting ready for the day. Let me think. Oh, sometimes I also go for a short walk just to get some fresh air. And yeah, that's pretty much my morning routine.
That was perfect. Notice how you kept talking even when you weren't sure what to say? That's the goal. Just keep going. And don't forget, the more you do this, the easier it gets. By the end of today, you'll already feel more confident when speaking.
Day 6, Real Conversations. All right, Adam, we've come a long way. We've trained our brains to think in English, we've practiced speaking alone, and we've built confidence. But now it's time for the real test, having real conversations. This is where a lot of learners freeze because speaking to a real person feels very different from practicing alone. It's one thing to talk to yourself, but when you have to respond to someone in real time, it feels like all your words disappear. Have you ever experienced that moment when your mind just goes blank?
Oh, absolutely. And the funny thing is, it happens to everyone, even native speakers sometimes. We all have moments where we forget words or struggle to express ourselves. The key is to keep going and not let fear stop you. The biggest mistake learners make is waiting until they feel ready to have real conversations. But the truth is, you will never feel 100% ready. The only way to get comfortable speaking is to actually start speaking.
Exactly. And today's challenge is to have at least one real conversation in English. It doesn't have to be long. It can be just a few minutes. But the goal is to actually speak with another person. And don't worry, we're going to give you a simple plan so you don't feel overwhelmed.
All right, let's break this down into 3 easy ways to have a conversation today. Option 1. Talk to a friend or family member in English. Even if they are not native speakers, that's fine. Just practicing with another person makes a big difference. You can say something like, "Hey, can we practice English for 5 minutes?" Keep it simple.
Yes. And if you don't have someone around to practice with, option 2, use a language exchange app. There are free apps where you can find people who also want to practice English. You don't have to jump into a long conversation. Just send a short message. "Hey, I'm learning English. Want to practice for a few minutes?"
That's such a great option. And if even that feels a little scary, option 3, talk to a stranger in a safe environment. If you go to a coffee shop, try ordering in English. If you're in a store, ask for help in English. It could be something as simple as, "Can I get a coffee?" or "Where can I find this item?" The goal is to interact in English, even in a small way.
And if you're not ready to talk face-to-face, start with texting or voice messages. Even a short conversation counts. For example, if you're chatting with someone online, just say, "Hey, how's it going?" and see where the conversation leads. The important thing is to get comfortable with real communication.
Now, let's do a quick role play to make this feel even easier. I'll pretend to be someone you meet for the first time, and you, our listeners, will respond. Ready?
Let's do it!
"Hey, nice to meet you. Where are you from?"
Now, listeners, imagine you're answering. Say your response out loud right now.
"Great. Now let's continue." "That's awesome. So, what do you like to do for fun?"
Again, answer out loud. Say something simple like, "I like reading and watching movies."
Perfect. Do you see how easy that was? Conversations don't have to be complicated. You don't need perfect grammar. You don't need long sentences. Just focus on communicating.
Now it's your turn. Today's challenge is to have one real conversation in English. It can be a text, a voice message, a video call, or an in-person chat. But do it today.
And remember, mistakes are part of learning. Every conversation makes you more confident and fluent. So, take the challenge, speak out loud, and get one step closer to fluency.
Day 7. Keep the momentum. Congratulations! You've made it to day 7 of the challenge. You've spoken every day, practiced thinking in English, responded faster, and even had real conversations. That's huge progress. But here's the biggest mistake learners make. They finish a challenge like this and then stop. They go back to their old habits, and within a few weeks, their speaking confidence starts to fade.
And we don't want that to happen to you. If you've made it this far, it means you've already built momentum. Your brain is now getting used to thinking and speaking in English. The trick is to keep it going. Just like going to the gym, if you work out for a week and then stop, you lose progress. But if you keep up a simple routine, you stay strong and keep improving.
That's why today's goal is not just about finishing this challenge. It's about creating a system to make English speaking a part of your daily life. Because fluency is not about studying, it's about consistent practice.
So, how do you keep this momentum going? Let's break it down into 3 simple habits that you can continue beyond today.
Habit 1. The 5-minute speaking rule. Every single day, speak English for at least 5 minutes. It doesn't matter if it's with a partner, by yourself, or even recording your voice. Just keep talking.
Yes! If you're alone, narrate your day. I'm making breakfast. I have a meeting in an hour. It's a beautiful day outside. Or, if you have a language partner, have a quick daily chat, even if it's just a simple exchange like, "Hey, how was your day?"
Habit 2. Keep listening to real English. Listening and speaking go hand in hand. If you stop listening, your brain stops absorbing natural pronunciation and sentence patterns. So make sure you immerse yourself in English every day.
This can be as simple as listening to a 5-minute podcast while drinking coffee, watching one short video with subtitles, playing English music and singing along. The more you listen, the more comfortable you'll feel speaking.
Habit 3. Challenge yourself with new conversations once a week. Push yourself outside your comfort zone. Try to. Join a speaking group or a language exchange. Talk to a native speaker or a fluent friend. Order food, ask for directions, or make a small request in English.
Let's talk about something every English learner struggles with at some point: motivation. We've all been there. You start learning with so much energy, practicing every day, feeling excited about your progress. But then, one day, you feel tired. You skip your practice. You tell yourself, "It's okay, I'll do it tomorrow." Then tomorrow comes, and you skip again. Before you know it, weeks have passed, and you feel guilty for not practicing. You might even start thinking, maybe I'm just not good at learning languages. But here's the truth. Fluency isn't about being talented or perfect. It's about showing up, even when you don't feel like it.
Oh, Adam, that's so true. And I know so many learners feel like they've failed just because they missed a few days of practice. But here's what I want everyone listening to remember. Missing one day doesn't ruin your progress. The only mistake is quitting completely. And that's where most learners get stuck. They think, I skipped a few days, so now I have to start all over. No, you don't. You just need to pick up where you left off. Learning a language is like building a muscle. If you stop working out, you might lose some strength, but you don't go back to zero.
I love that, Sophia. And let's be honest, motivation comes and goes. It's normal to feel super excited one week and unmotivated the next. That's why we need something stronger than motivation. We need habits. Think about it. Do you wake up every day and say, do I feel motivated to brush my teeth today? No, you just do it, because it's part of your routine. Learning English should be the same. You don't need to feel excited every day. You just need to show up and do something small. Even if it's just speaking for 2 minutes or watching a short video in English, that's still progress.
Exactly. And let me tell you something interesting. Progress is the best motivation. Think about the first time you learned to ride a bike. At first, it was scary. You thought you would fall. But after a few tries, you got better. And that feeling of improvement made you want to keep going. The same thing happens with English. When you notice even small improvements, like understanding a podcast without subtitles or answering a question without hesitation, you feel motivated to do more. That's why tracking your progress is so important.
I couldn't agree more. Learners often feel stuck because they don't see how much they've improved. So here's a simple tip. Keep a fluency journal. Every day, write down one thing you did in English. It could be a new word you learned, a sentence you spoke out loud, a conversation you had. Over time, when you look back at your journal, you'll realize just how much progress you've made, and that will push you to keep going.
Oh, and here's another trick that works like magic. Record yourself speaking in English. I know it sounds scary at first, but trust me, it's one of the best ways to see improvement. Record yourself today, then record yourself again after 1 month. When you listen to both, you'll hear the difference.
That's such a great tip, Sophia. And you know what? Another powerful way to stay motivated is surrounding yourself with English. If you only study English during study time, it will feel like hard work. But if you make English a part of your life by listening to music, watching shows, and thinking in English, it becomes effortless. You don't need extra motivation because it becomes your normal environment.
Yes. And let's talk about something really important, your mindset. A lot of learners focus on what they can't do. They say, I still make mistakes, or I'm not fluent yet. But what if you changed your mindset? What if instead of saying, I still make mistakes, you said, I'm learning from my mistakes? Instead of saying, I'm not fluent yet, say, I'm improving every day. The words you use affect your confidence.
Absolutely, and confidence is key. I always tell learners, speak before you feel ready. You don't need to wait until you're fluent to start speaking. Fluency comes from speaking. Think of it this way. Babies don't wait until they can speak perfectly before they start talking. They try, they make mistakes, they repeat words, and eventually they become fluent. You need to do the same.
And here's my final tip. Never compare your progress to someone else's. Some people learn faster, some take more time. That's okay. What matters is that you're improving compared to yesterday. Keep going at your own pace and fluency will come.
Let's be real. Most learners believe that confidence comes after fluency. They think, I'll feel confident once I'm fluent. But the truth is the complete opposite. You don't become confident after fluency. You become fluent because you are confident.
Exactly. And that's why today, we're going to teach you how to sound confident in English, even if you're not fluent yet. Because let's face it, we've all been in that situation where we hesitate before speaking. We think, what if I say the wrong word? Or, what if people don't understand me? And that hesitation makes us sound nervous. But here's the secret. You don't need perfect English to sound confident.
That's so true. Have you ever met someone who speaks English with a thick accent, makes grammar mistakes, but still sounds so confident that people listen to them? That's because confidence is about how you speak, not just what you say. And today, we're going to show you exactly how to sound confident, even if your English isn't perfect yet.
All right, let's start with the number one rule of confidence. Stop apologizing for your English. Too many learners say things like, sorry, my English isn't good. I'm not sure if this is correct, but I hope you understand me. When you start with these phrases, you tell people that you're not confident. Instead, even if you're unsure, speak with authority. Instead of saying, sorry, my English is bad, just speak. If someone doesn't understand, they will ask you to repeat. No big deal.
Yes. And let's talk about body language. Have you ever noticed how confident people stand tall, make eye contact, and use hand gestures when they speak? Your body language can make you look and feel more confident, even if you're feeling nervous inside. So, next time you speak English, stand up straight, make eye contact. Use hand gestures to emphasize your words. The way you present yourself affects the way people perceive you. If you look confident, people will believe you're confident, even if your English isn't perfect yet.
That's such a great point. And let's talk about tone of voice. Have you ever heard someone speak in a low, hesitant voice? It makes them sound unsure of themselves. But confident speakers speak with energy. Even if your grammar isn't perfect, If you speak clearly and with enthusiasm, people will listen. Try this. Say a sentence in a weak voice. I think it's a good idea. Sounds unsure, right? Now, say it with confidence. I think it's a great idea. Sounds strong. See the difference? Your tone matters more than your grammar.
Absolutely. And here's another trick. Use pauses effectively. A lot of learners think that speaking fast makes them sound fluent, but native speakers don't rush. They pause naturally between ideas. Instead of saying, I think, it's a good idea, say, I think it's a great idea. Short pause, confident delivery. Pauses. Give your brain time to catch up and make you sound more natural and self-assured.
Oh, I love that. And let's talk about filler phrases. What do native speakers say when they need a moment to think? They don't go silent. They use natural phrases like, let me think about that for a second. That's a good question. Well, I guess I'd say, using these instead of, or, makes you sound more confident and fluent, even when you're thinking.
That's such a good point, Sophia. And one last trick, smile when you speak. Studies show that smiling actually makes your voice sound warmer and more engaging. It also helps you relax. So next time you speak in English, take a deep breath, smile, and just go for it. All right, we've covered confidence, fluency, thinking in English, and even how to sound more natural. But now, let's talk about the most important part. How do you make speaking English a habit for life? Because here's the truth. If you don't practice consistently, you'll lose everything you've learned.
Exactly. So many learners make progress, then stop practicing for a few weeks, and suddenly they feel like they're back at the beginning. But here's the secret. Fluency isn't something you achieve and then forget about. It's something you maintain every day. And the good news? You don't need to spend hours practicing. You just need smart, consistent habits.
That's why now, we're going to give you a simple 3-step system to make English speaking a part of your daily life, without stress, without pressure, and without feeling like studying. Sound good?
Yes. Step 1. Automate your learning. This means you connect English to things you already do, so it becomes effortless. Change your phone settings to English, so every time you check your phone, you're practicing. Listen to an English podcast while getting ready in the morning. Watch your favorite TV shows with English subtitles instead of your native language. The goal? Make English a normal part of your life. When you stop seeing English as study time and start seeing it as daily life, you'll improve automatically.
I love that. And that brings us to step 2, speak every single day. Even if you don't have a speaking partner, you can still practice. Narrate your day out loud. I'm making coffee. I have a meeting at 10 a.m. Join an online speaking group. Even a 5-minute conversation helps. Record yourself speaking about a topic. Then listen back and track your progress. The key? Never let a day go by without speaking English. Even 1 minute of speaking is better than 0 minutes.
Yes. And finally, step 3. Track your progress and celebrate small wins. One of the biggest mistakes learners make. They focus on what they don't know instead of how far they've come. At the end of the week, write down one thing you improved. Celebrate small wins. Today, I spoke for 3 minutes without hesitating. If you learn 3 new words, congratulate yourself. When you focus on progress, not perfection, you stay motivated. And when you stay motivated, you never stop learning.
I love that, Sophia. And here's the biggest takeaway from today's episode. Fluency isn't a destination, it's a journey. The learners who succeed are the ones who keep going, even when they don't feel ready, even when they make mistakes, and even when progress feels slow. Wow, what an episode. We've covered why you struggle to speak, how to fix it in just 7 days, and the exact steps to turn English speaking into a lifelong habit. But here's the most important part. Nothing changes unless you take action.
That's right. Listening to this episode is great, but now it's time to apply what you've learned. Don't just think about it. Speak. Even if it's just one sentence out loud right now, do it.
And if you're serious about improving, commit to the 7-day challenge we shared. Practice every day, push past fear, and remember, fluency isn't about knowing all the words, it's about using what you already know. That's it for today. We'll see you in the next episode. Until then, keep speaking, keep learning, and never stop growing. Thank you.